Welcome to Teams Transformed, the podcast for people who want to see real team transformation.
For courageous coaches, curious leaders, and anyone passionate about unlocking the true power of teams.
We're your hosts, Georgina
and Allard,
here to journey with you through transformational insights on how to coach teams with presence, depth, and emergence.
Let's explore not just the tools, but the art of transforming teams.
Hi, this is Georgina Woodstra. In this episode, I had a wonderful conversation with Caroline Souto, a practitioner in the south of Brazil. Caroline, or Carol as we call her, is an ICF, PCC and ACTC coach, and she holds a bachelor's degree in economics and a master's degree in social sciences, both from PUCRS in Brazil. She's got over 15 years experience in people management and innovation, and she holds more than 300 hours in executive and team coaching training, including training with Team Coaching Studio and our diploma in team coaching. She's also an accredited coach supervisor, and her work has already impacted people in 14 countries. She's undertaken professional development in leadership and digital transformation at MIT and strategic design at IDEO, and she serves as the president of ICF RS Brazil. She lectures on postgraduate courses at various universities in southern Brazil, teaching subjects including leadership, team management, strategy, and innovation. Carol is also part of our Team Coaching Studio faculty and works as our partner in Brazil. And she's the founder of Ecosistema Angatu. In this conversation today, we talk about a couple of small moments of emergence that had a big impact. They're significant moments where the field, what was happening in the here and now, informed the agenda and where the conversation went to with the team, rather than sticking or working with a predetermined agenda. And what you'll hear Carol talk about is how she creates the conditions for emergence and the shifts and the impacts of working in this way. We also talk about how your way of being has an impact. As we say, our presence has an impact. We intervene by being different, and Carol brings that to life. So I hope you enjoy this episode, and I hope you enjoy getting to know Caroline Souto. Give us some feedback. We'd love to hear from you in your comments. Hello, Caroline. Welcome.
Hello, Georgina. Hello.
Thank you for joining us here today. I'm really looking forward to our conversation today and discovering more about moments of emergence with you.
It's amazing to be here. A real honor. Thank you for inviting me to be here, Georgina.
You're really welcome. I'm sure the listeners curious. They probably hear that you have an accent.
Yes.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about yourself. What do you want the listener to know about you, Caroline?
So I'm Caroline, but everyone calls me Carol. TCS has a lots of Carol, so this might be a confusion. So I'm Caroline Souto. I'm based in Brazil, in the south of Brazil. So English is my second language. I've been connected to TCS for almost 5 years now, 6 years maybe. Georgina, can you imagine? Time flies.
Yeah, I know. Incredible.
Incredible. And I've been working as a coach for many years now, exploring different philosophies. And I think I've been evolving over time to really embrace emergence into my work and into my way of being with my client. So, yeah. So I think that's a good starting point. Let's see what else emerges.
Yes, fantastic. So Carol, I'm really interested in moments of emergence, and wonder if you can recall a moment that stood out that was significant for you in your work. A moment when something shifted.
Yeah. So that's a very great question, Georgina. It makes me think about how do I connect with my clients, and I think I can remember a moment last week where I was with leaders in an organization here in the south of Brazil, and I had an intention, a clear objective with everyone that was present in the room. And somehow my intuition was saying something else. it was saying that they were really tired and doing or creating and following what my intention since the beginning was not going to be helpful. And then I check with the HR that was in the room, checked with the leaders, and then that changed the whole day. So how do you have a conversation with a team about high performance leadership, high performance teams? That was what we were doing that when in that company when they are tired. And the conversation was not what is high performance, but is high performance when you're tired. And that shifted the day. And I'm telling you, and remember the conversation that we had. It was a group, a big group, and for me it was an amazing opportunity to hold the space so people could understand what is high performance, because this is a big word. Even in English, I can sense that it's like it can mean many things. What is high performance when you're tired? And that was beautiful to see they get in contact with each other and helping each other, supporting each other on how to rest, how strategies. So something else emerged into that conversation that was certainly more helpful than what I had planned before.
I love that, because what is high performance kind of takes my mind to something textbooky or theoretical.
Yeah.
It takes me out of myself and out of the context that I'm in.
Yeah.
So you really brought the field,
Yeah.
and what was in the field was tiredness. You brought that into the conversation, and something more profound came out of that. Yeah. And what do you think shifted for them?
Well, when you ask that question, the first thing that comes to my mind is the ability to name, to create common grounds, to get out of the imagination, and to really deal with the reality. And I think that's really powerful when you get in contact with the reality, with what is in the room, what is inside myself. And creating the safe space so people can get in contact with the reality, with what is. I think that's a major shift. That was a major shift, and I think that is a major shift. Sometimes our clients they love to go and to talk about other things and not what is in the room.
Yes. Instead of talking about our performance, I want to talk about performance in the organization or performance of our teams, or as you say, talk about it in an abstracted way, but bringing it into the here and now. And what's here between us. What is high performing for us in this moment? Is a fascinating conversation and very rich. How do you create the conditions for that kind of conversation? What made it possible? Because I imagine it's probably not the first moment, the opening moment of your work with the team, or was it?
No. This organization, I've been working with them, Georgina, for like 8 years. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
We were having a conversation, and I said to them, I think my first contact with you was in 2018, different roles. So I was a professor, then a consultant, then a facilitator, then a coach, and then a coach again. So different ways of connecting with them. And trust was built over time. So I know everyone's name. I can call them and I say and something that I was doing all the time. Last time we were together, I said, I see you. So I was calling people by name, and I can see what you're doing. I can see your funny faces, and So I know them for a long time. So that's, I think, create conditions for the team to be brave enough that there was a lot of courage in the room.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. The other thing is like sponsorship. The chairman talks a lot about my way of helping them. So he
Yes.
sort of validate my contribution. So the chairman, the executive director, the HR manager, so they validate and they not only validate, but I think they value my contribution.
Yeah.
So I think that's another thing. And somehow being honest when I said to them, sorry, something shifted on me, and I need to check that with you. And I said to them, please don't find me weird. And they laugh a lot. So we make a little bit of humor to
Humor about it.
embrace, to embrace something else. And they laugh and they say, we are used to, we are used to. There's funny things. And so I said to them, my intuition is saying something else. So
I
checking.
hear that container, you know, the conditions where you can intervene and bring in your use of self and take them into greater contact and deepen the conversation. In this instance, the conditions built over time, over 8 years, and you've got a lot of support of the sponsors in the organization. Out of curiosity, Carol, how would you create the conditions with a new client?
Yeah. Well, in my experience, I think when the work starts when you say hi to a client, before the works really start with the team or the group you're going to be creating the work. So for me, trust is like, hey, I'm Caroline. So the way I engage with the client from moment one, and I embrace all the information that is there. I don't confront the information. So I said, this is what my way is like it's like a mantra, as we say. It's like everything is part of the conversation.
Yeah.
So that from the moment one, when I say hi, everything is part of the conversation.
Yeah.
And then when I get in front of the team or the group, the leader, I think like not holding my presence, holding the space, and just being there with them. I think that's really important. And I know this might be a little bit subjective, but I understand that I can. When I receive feedback from my clients, they say you're different, and I think Georgina is like, it's because we've done so much inner work that when I get to work with someone, they say, "Oh, you're very calm. You're very quiet. You're," and I'm there holding the space. It's like, and I think creating emergence in a new team, new client, in different roles we may have with the client. It's something. It is like being there for you first. Listen to you yourself, role modeling that, doing your inner work.
Yes.
And in helping them to understand that everything is part of the conversation, like not taking sides, and respect the time of the client. So if they need a little bit of structure in the beginning, go with that. No, and by when you have a bridge, when the door opens, you take that, and then you start working emerging like 10% of the conversation, 1% of the conversation. And then over time they'll say, I want to do that. How do I do that? Okay, so let's experiment. So I would say like taking every moment you can to show and to experiment, but respect the time of the client. If they need more time to work emergently, I think that's okay. For me it takes time, Georgina. I'm not sure if you see the same, but sometimes it can take time.
Oh yes, I certainly find that. I mean, what I heard you say, Carol, was that you've done a lot of inner work on yourself, and I know you have, and that enables you to show up in a way which has an impact from the start. You want to show up in a way of being that that demonstrates how the experience of being with you is going to be.
Yeah.
And you say it's all information. I say it's all data. Whatever happens in the room, this is the content that we work with rather than some external construct. It's what's here in the room. And there's always so much data here. Any one moment is rich, fertile ground. But you want to give them an experience of you and how you are, deepening contact. And then one of the things I loved is you said, when a door opens, take it. So you're waiting. You're waiting in Gestalt. They sometimes say, waiting with soft eyes.
Yeah.
We're waiting for something to become figural, for something to stand out, or for an opportunity to deepen the contact and give them different quality of experience than they may get elsewhere. I think that's very important for this kind of work, and it signals the need to be energetically available for each other.
Yeah.
Carol, do you have another moment of emergence you'd like to talk about, to take this a bit further, a bit deeper?
Yeah. Another example would be when I was with a team and they were like, the request was to get to know each other. This was a new team. And I promptly said, okay, so let's try an exercise. And then they said, well, we've done that. And then I was like, oh. So I challenged them to experiment something. And then they said, no, but we did that in our last meeting. And I said, okay, so what else? What would you like to do then if you feel that's finished? And then a member of the team asked a question. She said, how about we explore the question was, what are we willing to let go in order in order for us to be successful? And I was like, okay. And then I remember sitting back on my chair. This was an online event. And then I was like, I'm okay. So I'm sitting back and I'm observing you. What would you like me to observe? They said, no, we just want to have a conversation now and then we can, and then that's it. And then I was like, oh God, they were like connecting to each other based on a question that a team member brought in. And I was there just observing the moments of contact between each other and how they build rapport together. And when he finished, they asked me what I've seen and how was my experience, and then I gave a little bit of insights, but there was no you see, the work, it was different. It was not like, let's solve a problem. It's like, in my client, that's a bit different. It's like they are functioning quite well at that moment. They were functioning quite well, and they want to take it further.
Yes. Sometimes people say from good to great.
Yeah, from good to great. Yeah. And I was like, okay. For me, it's like it's somehow a new experience, because when we get in contact, when someone asks me to be there, it's often because there is something that needs to be built, not fixed, but changed. Something needs to be different. And good to great, and it was a moment of emergence for them and for me as well. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. Yeah. Who am I when a client wants to go from good to great, and that for me it took me to a different way of relating to this team, and I changed my language, I change and I adapt my language to work with them where they were at, and I just observed it. It was beautiful to see.
And I could imagine the listener perhaps thinking, well, what value are you adding, Carol? You're it's the client brought the question, and then they had the conversation whilst you're sitting on the outside, like on the outside of a bowl looking in.
Yeah.
And then you're sharing some observations on the quality of their contact with each other.
Mm-hmm.
What was the value of that? What shifted?
Mm-hmm. So again, creating the space, being there. It's funny because we say being there is not doing something, but for us, being there, it has to do with something that we do. So being is some sort of doing.
A being intervention.
Yeah, it is a being intervention. So yeah, that's very profound. But we can do something just by being different. So we intervene when we offer a different energy, a different language, a different stance, even if it's virtual, and we get closer to the camera and we step back from the camera. Our presence has an impact. And even when I offer some observations, Georgina, when I told them what was happening in the room, they sound really surprised. They didn't know they were doing well, that this was functioning, and this was the work that needs to be happening. So sometimes reinforcing what is the good to get to the great, it is a valued contribution, and it's often taken for granted. I certainly got to think that I took for granted the power of not helping change something that needs to be different, but the good to great, embracing the good to great with a client. Yeah.
So you've had this kind of awakening for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
If we wind the clock back, I don't know how many years. Tell me about how you would have been different before.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So very interesting. Yeah, that's a very interesting question. I think paying attention to the what is already functioning. So it's like shifting the eyes, the way of looking to things. What am I searching with the client? What am I? What is my flow of attention, as we say, and maybe change a little bit the flow of attention to help them work. And we can say strength based, but we do that. But it's not the content. It's like shift the my awareness, the flow of my attention to embrace something else as well. And that was a moment. And I think I think that our clients always teach us something as well. So it's not only that. So, and I'm really grateful for these both experiences, because they both taught me so much. Yeah.
Yeah. It's from many people start out, I think, feeling they've got to diagnose a client from some kind of proven lens or framework.
Mm-hmm.
And that can have the intervener in their heads and in theory and out of contact with the team and what's happening in the room. And so not open, not energetically available, bringing ourselves into the fullest of our presence and allowing ourselves to be impacted by the team, so that we come into connection and a felt sense and experience of what it's like being with this team, being open-hearted around that. That field of data is what informs the interventions, I believe. I know that you have a strong interest in developing and in your philosophy and stance as a coach. So how you what your beliefs are around your role, and how you what mantras you tell yourself to stay true to that, to show up in the here and now in a way that supports what you believe in. Would you be willing to talk a little bit about that, Carol, about
Sure.
your philosophy and stance in your own
Sure.
words?
Yeah. Yeah, Georgina, I think I evolved over time. In the beginning, I was like trying to diagnose and maybe fix. One of my talents is to organize things. You know that I can build
I've
things.
discovered that about you. And it's a superpower.
It is, but sometimes it's not that helpful because being an organizer or this being part of my philosophy and stance, it can be really good in some cases. And I'm learning to dial down this a little bit when I'm working and embracing emergence as a different way of relating to my clients. So it's not that I'm going to not be an organizer because this is a superpower. I can do that, and I'm embracing that. I'm not in conflict with that part of myself anymore, and that's helping me to embrace also the emergence and say, let's see what else is here. So I think when I say everything is part of the conversation, so it is. I think that's also something that I told myself. So that's why I think inner work is so important. So inner work is fundamental for us to be there and not to be afraid of what can emerge, because I've seen it all. I've seen myself I've seen it all. And very early in my career, someone told me that I can see and sense what is outside of me at the same proportion that I can see and sense inside of me. And I took that very serious. And then I said, that's really interesting. I want to try that. So when I say I've seen it, it's because I look at myself from different perspectives, and I can see how do I relate with fear, with conflict, with joy, with happiness. So being an observer of myself, it helps me to become an observer and to relate with my clients in a different way, looking at with some sort of distance to listen and to sense the field as well. Does that make sense, Georgina? It sounds like one of those weird conversations, but
yeah. Well, what I'm hearing is you have a real strong belief that in inner work and the work that you've done on yourself, and that enables you to be with what is, to notice what is being generated in you by the situations that you find yourself in without being triggered.
Yeah.
So you're able to notice and stay centered. And that's powerful because that gives you choices in the moment about how to intervene. So it's a kind of inside out approach. And, a dear colleague of ours who you know well as Carol, Peter Blackett, he talked about transformed people transform people.
Yeah.
I think that's such a memorable and important mantra that unless we do the work on themselves, we can't just become great team coaches by learning a set of tools that we process a team through. So much of the work is on ourselves and our capacity to be present to the what is, to what's really here. Both what's charming and heartwarming and inspiring, and what's painful and difficult and uncomfortable, to be with it all. Because only when we can be with it and hold that space, you sit in the fire, hold the space, be with the tensions, can then the dynamic and energy transform. I think this is our work. This is our work, and you embrace and role model that with immense grace. Yeah. Carol, as we close off today, is there anything else you'd like to say as we kind of check out with each other here?
Yeah. I just want to say thank you. It's an honor to be here, and I think that the invitation to be here prompted me to think more about how emergence is a core part of my philosophy and stance, and how it evolved over time, and it will continues to evolve. I'm sure I'm not completely ready yet, because I think there is so much more to be there, and that's okay. Embrace my own way of developing myself and relating to my clients in an emergent way. It was a gift for me to think about. So thank you, Georgina.
Carol, you're a role model of working on yourself, of deepening contact with yourself so that you can deepen contact with others. And it's always a joy being with you. I also want to, whilst we're here, in case anyone would like to meet Carol, we're running a retreat together in Brazil in August this year.
Yeah.
So if you're listening to this after August this year, I'm afraid that moment will have passed. But do reach out and get in contact. You'll see the details in the podcast information. But if you'd like to join us for 4 days in August, really exploring contact and emergence and inner development for outer transformation, then we'd be delighted to have you with us.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you, Carol.
Thank you.
Bye now.
Thanks for joining today's journey of Teams Transformed.
If this sparked a new insight or a deeper question, we invite you to sit with it, not to solve it, but to let it unfold.
For resources, community, and reflection prompts, visit teamcoachingstudio.com.
Until the next time, stay present, stay curious, and keep leaning into the art of emergence.